actually know what's going on here?
I literally have no idea. Help.
We're 20 whatever. Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
And welcome back to 20 whatever.
I think it's been a minute. That's why I had a moment.
It has.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know, we batch film these episodes because Riayn and Paloma live in LA and I live in San Diego. So we usually film like 4 episodes at a time. So we'll do like 2 one day, 2 the next. So when we sit down to film, we've either just filmed multiple episodes or it's our first time sitting down in a while.
Yep.
And today it's our first time sitting down in a while.
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, we have not seen each other in a hot minute, ladies.
It's been a
Where have we
moment.
been? I live with Riayn and I have not seen you in so long, it feels like.
Yeah, between like traveling and just like doing other things.
We've been busy.
And you've been traveling as well.
Yeah, Alaska. And then I'm going to Boston next week. And then we're going to Disney World.
Oh my God, that's right.
Did I even tell you? Well, that trip was like really random, the booking Disney World, because Steven has a work conference in Orlando.
Oh,
And I was like,
fun.
you think we're going to Orlando and not going to Disneyland?
Right.
So, because my thing was, he was like, because we're going 2 days early. We're going to do 2 days at Disney World, all 3 of us. Then he's going to the conference, and then Grace and I are going to do 2 days. And he was like,
Ooh.
don't you think, he's like, it could be hard, you alone at Disney World with a toddler. And I'm like, I'm going to be alone with a toddler regardless. I'd rather be at Disney World.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's tea though. Like,
Wait, so how long, like, total will you guys be there?
5 days, I think, because we're doing 2 days together and then like a day transition just hanging at the resort, and then 2 days just Grace and I.
Wow.
Have you been to that park before?
I have. Steven and I went there in 2019. That was like the last big thing we wanted to do before we started trying, which is actually kind of special then going back with Grace.
You're right.
That's so
Because we were like, we want to do it as adults.
Right.
Like do the drinking around the world, do all the big roller coasters. And so then to feel like we've really done all the things we want to do.
Mhm.
And then now we get to go back and I get to do all the little things with Grace. So.
Yeah.
Aw, do you guys have like an itinerary? I've never been to Disney World, but I know it's like crazy. Like there's so much to do.
Yeah, Steven is like an expert at booking all that stuff. Like he
Love
had
that.
a reminder in his calendar when we're 60 days out and we can make dining reservations.
Wow.
He has like
Impeccable.
everything. I know. I'm like, I just get to sit back and enjoy.
That's honestly the dream.
I
Yeah.
love that so much. That's really my boyfriend's the same way, where he actually makes a PowerPoint for. We have a trip coming up to Aruba, and he has a PowerPoint with a table of contents, graphic images, clips, like type 1 so much. So
Right.
I feel that.
See,
girl.
that's usually me, but with Disney, Steven is like on it. Like it has to be him, and I'm happy to sit back.
Why
and
do you
let him
think
do
it's like just Disney?
because he's a Disney adult. I
Okay.
mean, and I am too. But
Right.
like,
Right.
Right,
He's
right,
like, we
right.
need to make sure we're getting
Yeah.
it all done. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and I because I am usually the one doing the planning, I really like getting to just sit back.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Since
So that's what I've been up to.
That's giving me some tea. I'm like, okay, maybe then I should organize some stuff like that
girl,
too.
he
To
would
take
probably give you the
Yes.
biggest googly eyes ever.
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
maybe you're giving me some advice, because usually he's the one that like plans and takes care of everything. So I'm like, maybe I'll like
He
schedule
would be
something.
shook, girl.
Do I go into Canva and like make a little
Yeah,
like,
no, you should.
like
should.
date itinerary?
Yeah,
Send
I'd
that
be like,
to him.
wait, what? No, you should.
You
Okay,
should.
I'll keep you updated.
When's your anniversary?
We are in January.
Okay,
Yep.
well you got time to plan, girl.
Yeah, I know. Okay, after the holidays, baby.
Oh my God, it'll be year 4.
It will be year 4. Yeah, I know. What am I gonna plan?
I don't know.
That's like a whole like you've been through the high school together. You've been freshmen in
Right.
your relationship, sophomores, juniors. You're graduating.
Oh, baby.
You're
Get my cap and
graduating.
gown.
Yep,
Well.
off to college.
All right, here we go. Extra
Extra credits. Right.
credit.
You'll get extra credit if you plan this.
Yeah.
Okay, deal. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to and I'm going to be up to.
Right.
What about you guys?
Well, I've been with my family a lot lately. I've been back and forth from LA to San Diego doing a lot of family stuff. Last week I was here for my dad's birthday. So my sister actually came back with me to LA. She hasn't started school yet. My sister's 13, by the way. So this is our first like trip without our parents, like just us together, which was a really big deal. And I remember like my older cousins that I like consider sisters, but I remember my first time like hanging out with them without my mom and my dad there, like, and feeling like so grown up and doing what they were doing and just having a good time. So I was so excited for my sister to come with me. And she stayed at our apartment, and we just had the whole apartment to ourselves. The first night we got there, we took the train back. And we got to our apartment and I bought like Martinelli's, like little, like apple cider, and I put it in wine glasses and we were on the patio. Like, I wanted her to feel like she was doing something. Yeah, I vlogged it. So that vlog will be going up. Yeah. I vlogged the whole trip. Yeah, it's going to be so sweet. But she loved it. We went to Santa Monica Pier together and just like walked around, did the roller coaster thing. And then what else did we do? We had reservations for like rooftop dinner. Like it was like
stop.
Yeah.
I want a sister.
It was so sweet. Like
she is never gonna forget that.
That's what I was thinking too. And I was so glad that I vlogged it because she watches like all of the vlogs and stuff. And I think she's like gonna go back and watch this one like all the time. So yeah, it was sweet. It was really sweet. And we listened to the episode of the podcast together. Like we had our little coffee in the morning.
No.
Yeah. It was so cute.
That's
it was so cute.
cute.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. Like we are simply obsessed with each other. Like I'm so glad that like props to you parents for having her. Like I'm obsessed. But it really does feel like a little best friend. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel so blessed to be able to have like be that influence on her because I know she comes to me with some stuff and I feel like I can really like give her the tea. Like, yeah, I'm not 13 and I'm not in middle school anymore, but like it doesn't feel so far away from my life now that I feel like I can still kind of like speak to her and like, we can still have some of that stuff in common.
Yeah, you still remember what it feels like to be a 13-year-old girl.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's so amazing that you guys have that close of a relationship because, well, the episode we're doing today about sibling dynamics, but when I was like Googling things about this, something I saw a lot was people who said that they have big age gaps and so they're not close with their sibling. Like they're just not in the same stage of life. They feel like they never really got along together.
Yeah.
And so how amazing that with that age gap that you get to have such a different and special relationship with your sister.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same way with my little brother. Less so now that he's out of the house. But
Right.
when he was like 13, 14, oh my gosh, we had so much fun
Yeah.
all the time because I had a car. I could drive us to go do fun things. He thought it was super cool. Like your sister going up to LA and having a rooftop dinner with you.
Yeah.
Like that's so amazing.
I feel like if we were closer in age, like even like 4 years, I feel like there would be a little bit of tension.
Yeah.
Like because like my brother and my sister are very close. I think they're what is that called? Like Irish twins or something like that. Like they're like really close in age. So they are like fight all the time or whatever. But like with us, there's no tension.
Mhm.
We're not. There's nothing to feel like we have to like.
I was gonna say,
debate
well,
on.
how many years apart? I mean, if she's 13, you're 12.
Yeah, we're
at least
13.
10 years.
We're 13
years apart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that I think that 13 years gives you guys the space to be like,
Right. What I'm dealing with, and our communication styles are so different, but like because I feel like I know how to talk to someone in
Right.
middle school, I'm not talking down to her, even though like I'm an adult, like I'm very clearly an adult and she's not. That dynamic doesn't really come into play. I mean, obviously, while she was at my house, she had to listen to me, and like be where I was and like that kind of stuff. But it wasn't like, you need to go to bed, you need to do this and that. I was just like, yeah, I probably should go take a shower, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, very like chill.
Well, and because you're an adult, but not a parent or not a teacher, right? You're an adult. You're someone that has perspective that you can share with her.
Right.
But you're not like this out of touch authority figure, right?
Right.
Where she probably feels more comfortable going to you about stuff.
I don't have a sister, but but on TikTok I've seen that where it's like I was like scrolling and this girl was like, oh, like like having a sister and just like going through her closet and blah 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 blah, or just like how do siblings do it? They'll say like how do older siblings do it where they don't have like an older sister to tell them what to do and stuff like that. And I'm like, you're right. Like I really had to do it.
Like figure it out.
Figure it out myself. At least Rosalind's like, okay, Riayn, I'm like stressed out right now. Like, what's the tea? And at least you have some sort of guide, like in addition to your mom and like her friends, like assist. That's
you
like,
guys, literally, we were playing this game and she told me, and like, I don't know what, I mean, it just touched me. But she was like, yeah, I like that, we can hang out and it's fun and I can go to you and this and that. And she was like, and you're pretty. So, and I was like, what? And I was like, you think I'm pretty? She was like, yeah, like you're pretty. And I was like, oh my God. Like I couldn't even. And like, sure, right. But I guess I just didn't think that she thought that, or like that's not a thought that I would even think about, like whatever. I don't know. But I was on the verge of tears.
Sierra, we need to go buy one.
We can share mine.
Yeah, can we share?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God.
She would love.
Please.
Yeah.
Instead of 20 whatever, it's 13 whatever.
13 whatever. Right. 13 going on 20 whatever.
Yes.
No, yeah, I really I have a younger brother. He's about 20. Gosh, he's 22 now. Yeah, we were close. Like you and Roger. Like when we were younger, we had that dynamic of just like besties. And I have videos of us being like, "Hey, so my name's David. My name's Paloma, and we're gonna do this today." Like dumb little videos, and just like he would let me dress him up. So like I would obviously like we're doing blue eyeshadow. We're doing everything. Like he was like my bestie.
Yeah,
but then, as it's happened, sometimes boys grow up to be teenagers and they're like, "You're dumb, you don't know anything."
Right. You're all of a sudden not cool anymore.
All of a sudden, I became not cool. And so that's where the bestie separation, I felt it. And I was just like, no. Like,
when did that happen?
It started happening, I think, when he was like 14, where it was just very much, he was just like, he'd come home from school and it was very much like, sup.
Yep.
It was very just like shorter than before, where it was like, I don't know, like, you know, just when you're younger.
Yeah.
And then, but now that he's older and he's like, after he turned 20, he started like opening back up to me like, oh, so like now that he's maturing, we can have conversations, because I feel like before he wasn't interested in having conversations because he was a 15-year-old boy and was like, you don't know anything. I don't really care about your opinion. But it was so drastic because at the beginning, like I was the one that would like pick out his clothes. Like my mom would be like, okay, if we're going to Tilly's, you pick out what he wants to wear, because my mom.
I used to go back to school shopping and he did not want anything my mom picked out, but he would let me pick out anything.
Right.
Yep.
So fun.
That exact thing. My mom's like, go ahead, pick out his clothes, because he will not listen to me. And that felt so good, you know, like knowing that like he
valued your opinion.
That you valued, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, you don't know anything, and I'm like, I do. But now I think he's coming back.
He's on his way back.
He's on his way. He's on his way back to me, guys. But he gets so along with my boyfriend really, really well, and I can see that brother that he also says, like, he's like, I've always wanted a brother. And when are you and Riayn coming? So I think that like now that we're getting this older age, like all of us can hang out, like him, his girlfriend, me, my boyfriend, and it's just like a big. It feels like just like siblings and cousins hanging out like all together. So I'm really glad that I'm coming back to that spot, because I just see how like the sisters. I want to call it my sister. That's why I call Riayn all the dang time.
Right. That's true.
That's why you have to go through this, because I don't have a sister.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Same. Yeah. And I feel like that I really gravitated towards like female friendships because I didn't have that at home.
Right.
At home, it was very boy energy.
Right.
And so like I really thrived with like a group of girls, you know?
And we feel so powerful when we were surrounded by girls. I'm like, I need more in the house.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think because you had two brothers and then your dad that you were closer with your mom because she was like the only girl in the house?
I think so. I think my mom and I always had like a really special relationship. And when I got pregnant, I told myself I had no preference. And I really genuinely believed that. But the excitement I felt when I found out I was having a girl made me go, okay, maybe I did actually have a little bit of a preference, just because my mom and I had a great relationship with my dad, and we traveled a lot together because he was a professor, and so he would go to these conferences and I would go with him. Yeah. But my mom, like it was, you know, I would tell her like everything going on at school, and my friends would tell her too. Like my mom was that mom where she'd pick us up from school and my friends would start like asking her for advice. I'm like,
she's a cool mom.
She's a cool mom.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So when I found out I was having a girl, there was a part of me that was like, oh my gosh, I'm like so excited to like have that mother-daughter bond.
Yeah. Bestie.
Yeah. Oh. And I love having a girl, which that's not what this podcast is about. But
adjacent.
Yeah, adjacent.
Yes.
But actually with being a mom, it has brought up a lot of thoughts about sibling dynamics, because as we start talking about wanting to have another baby, it's thinking about age gaps. It's thinking about like, okay, how many kids do we want to have? How did those dynamics change? And so I've been thinking, that's been very top of mind for me recently, of like the difference between a 2-year and a 3-year age gap. And you know, there's just so much to dive into. And so I'm really excited we're doing this topic.
Me too. What are the age gaps between you and your siblings?
So I am the middle child.
Right.
My older brother and I are 14 months apart, which as a child, I thought that was so normal. Now realizing my mom got pregnant when my brother was 5 months old. At the age that Grace is now, my mom already had a 1-month-old.
No.
Bananas.
And I was like, now that you're there, what do you see? What do you feel? You're like,
absolutely
there's
not. No way.
No, that's
way.
Crazy. Oh my God.
I know.
Like, I don't think I realized how close you guys actually were in age.
Everyone always thought we were twins, like when we were younger. And I think being that close in age, we very easily could have fallen into like being compared a lot, right? Of like,
oh, right.
you know, my brother was a super high achieving kid. He was incredibly smart. He was incredibly good at sports. And I think good on my parents for I never really felt compared to him, which was great. I think gender also might play a role in that.
Right. Like if you had a
he
sister.
was a girl,
yeah.
Right.
and so athletic and so smart,
Yeah.
that could have maybe not my parents, but maybe other people
Mhm.
would have compared us more.
Yeah.
But then my younger brother and I are almost 7 years apart.
Oh, wow.
So like I remember the day he was born. Like I remember him growing up, and it's a very different dynamic between like me and my older brother and me and my younger brother.
Because you and your older brother were in school together, like always in school together.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you and Austin were not at all.
No, we were never in the same school. There was one time though where when I went to middle school, his preschool shared a fence with my middle school. When I was in PE was when they had recess, and he would go out to the fence and be like, "That's my sister."
Oh, that's so
sweet.
I know. And
that's so sweet.
I loved having two siblings. I wrote down a note because I wanted to talk about this.
Yes.
Yesterday I asked my dad if he had any notes on like my sibling dynamics before we filmed this episode. And if you don't know, my dad is a psychologist. He's a professor of psychology. And so he was telling me about how like there's a lot of psychology to birth order, and that this was a really big thing like 10 or 15 years ago, that there were all these studies coming out about birth order. A lot of them have been debunked now. Like a lot of it isn't as solid as it once was thought to be.
Right.
But what basically the gist of it is, the oldest is the leader. They're doted on. They usually get more attention. The middle child, we'll come back to middle. The youngest, the baby, is the peacemaker. They want everyone to be together.
Yep.
They usually are very secure, very comfortable, and they just want everyone to get along. The middle child is pulled between the oldest and the baby. So they may be more prone to act out, to stand out, to get in trouble. Sometimes they are stereotypically called the wild one.
Right.
And I asked my dad what he thought, if there was any truth to that with his children.
And what did he say?
He said there's some accuracy. He said my older brother Jordan was always the one who was like coming up with the ideas. He was the leader, the planner. Okay, we're going to do this. And then, if we were playing games with like all the siblings, he was the one, setting out the rules. And my little brother, very chill. He just wants everyone to get along.
Mm-hmm.
When me and my older brother would fight when he was a kid, he would cry and go to his room because he didn't like when we fought.
Oh,
so cute.
That's so
Tenderloaf.
Right.
And my dad then said I was loud and unique.
Yep. It's the unique for me. That's so funny.
Yeah, that was a nice way to put it.
Right.
Loud and unique. But a lot of the times with that middle child, they try to, because they don't always get as much attention, they try to differentiate themselves,
right.
Get more attention. So you guys, how do you feel that birth order psychology plays in with your sibling dynamics?
Me being the eldest, I definitely feel that so much, especially at least with like my family group. I feel like I'm the leader. I'm like, all right, you guys. So remember at 7:00, we're going to Union Station.
Right.
My brother's like, all right, I'm like, focus, 7:00. Like he's
right.
the one derailing us. So, but I completely feel like the leader, the one that, just, I feel like there is like a sense of like turning to me being like, so what do you think? Rather than a sense of like, and David's just like, he's like, whatever. So
right.
yeah,
he's along for the ride.
And I think that he also knows that I will take the charge, because I'm not the kind of person to just be like, we'll just figure it out. I'm like, with it when it comes to my family, I'm like, okay, guys, like put all ducks in a row.
Right.
So I think that there definitely is truth to that one, at least personally. I think. What do you think, Riayn?
It's weird because of the age gap.
Right.
Like
that's another...
I was an only child for 11 years. So I was like well into like middle school when that was happening. So
right.
Yes and no. I don't feel like anyone's really like not fighting for attention, or I definitely, I'm the one that stands out the most. I feel like if my parents described me, it would also be like loud and unique and the wild child for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I'm older, I was just the guinea pig. And for so many years until there was two close in age, like so far away from me. But I feel like with them, my sister, even though she's the youngest, she's the one that's like, let's play a game. I want everybody to be at home together, playing games, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's kind of like, he's kind of just go with the flow type of vibe. He'll do whatever. He wants everyone to be happy, but like he's not really gonna go out of his way to like make sure everybody's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the difference. I feel like when you're older, you feel like
It's like your responsibility. Yeah.
me. Oh no,
yeah.
I'm being read.
No, but right.
But there's that sense of like, if I don't, then who will?
Then who will? Yeah. And if I don't plan this family game night or family dinner, then we're like not gonna get together and do anything. Yeah. I feel like that. And I think like, especially when I come home, everyone's like, so, you know, what do you have planned? Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, what do you have planned? I'm
the visitor.
guest. Yeah. I'm the guest here. They're like, no, you live here. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So yeah, I think the dynamics are different and kind of like not the same because of the age gap. It makes it a little bit different.
Right.
I don't feel like an only child, but I just feel a little bit adjacent when it comes to like sibling dynamics, like when we're at home.
Well, I feel like, right, that psychology of birth order, probably a lot of that is established when you're young, like under 5, under 6.
Yeah.
So you had already established so much of your personality, of who you are, when your siblings were
Showed
born.
up.
Yeah.
Showed up.
Appeared.
I don't mean to say that, but I would ask my mom also in preparation for this, and I was like, Mom, just tell me, we're talking about siblings. What are your thoughts? And she was like, well, you better, I don't know if you want to mention that you were not excited at all. When I found out, I was 4.5. When I found out that we were going to have a baby, my mom was like, you were so upset. She said you didn't want to talk to any, because I don't know, maybe because I was like, I want the attention and what the heck. And she did say that when my brother was born, because she said you were very independent and like you just did your own thing. She's like, but once your brother was born, all of a sudden you were like, Mom, hold me. I want this. And she was like, you've never done this. But then all of a sudden I started acting like that when my brother showed up.
Right.
And ruined the plans.
You know what's interesting? Because I was the opposite of that. When my mom got pregnant with my little brother, I was thrilled. I was so excited. I could not keep it a secret. Like, I just was so excited. But maybe that's because I already had an older sibling. So I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm used to just having my parents and me. I was already used to sharing their attention with a sibling.
You were like, oh my gosh, one more person. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
I guess in my mind, I was like, what the heck? What you mean? You guys sit down in the living room and watch me perform every morning.
Right. I had a mixture of the two. I was really excited. Obviously, I mean, I was 11, so I was like, yes, like give me all the babies. So excited.
Yeah.
And then my brother got here and it was cool. It was fine until I realized the age gap obviously had so much to do with it, but there was like no attention on me at all. One, because I was self-sufficient. I was 11.
Right.
I didn't need anyone to do anything for me. I could clearly communicate. I could do everything for myself. So and then there's a literal baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody was so excited, because like it was like a firstborn all over again. Because there was so much time in between me and him.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no one cares about me. Got it. Obviously, that was not the case,
true,
but that's how it felt. Yeah.
And in that moment, you feel like, I even like, as just like parents, I could see like having an 11 or 12-year-old. I'd be like, oh my gosh, can you go like get this? Can you take care? Like you feel more. You have the ability to put more responsibilities on the older child.
Yeah, and I did. I did. I felt, I watched there were so many things that I didn't do and like missed out on, and like, no, like shade to my parents, but like I would stay and take care of my brother. And then when my sister came, it was the same thing. I would take care of the both. There's a picture of me holding my sister, and I was 13 because she was like very newborn, and I'm holding her and she's asleep and I'm asleep on the couch. Like we're just like chilling, and I was probably just like watching her or whatever. And it's such a sweet picture now to look at. But like I'd spent a lot of my time like taking care of my siblings.
Right.
Maybe that's the difference between my brother and I being 7 years apart, because you can't have a 7-year-old watch an infant.
Yeah.
I helped, and I was really excited to help, but like they weren't like leaving me with the baby because I was 7.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like I wanted to be like a caretaker for him.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, can I help change his diaper? Like, can I hold him? And my parents, I don't think really like put that on me, but I really wanted to. Like, and both my older brother and I, we would like argue over like who got to sit next to him in the car. Like as he got older, like going to like Disneyland for the first time, like who gets to ride with him? Like,
that is so.
Yeah, I felt that too, and I think because I was able to like take care of my siblings and my parents like trusted me and I had all that responsibility, it was really awesome to like, even though obviously I'm a grown up, but like and Rosalind's 13, but them letting Rosalind come all the way to LA with me and like stay for days and days, like that's a huge responsibility. I did have a freak out moment though, I will say. When we got there, like right when we got there, we were having dinner and we were on the patio and stuff. I was like, we were just talking and I had a moment of like, oh, like I really have to like I have to watch her. Like when we go somewhere, like I need to have all eyes, like, you know, whatever. And I was like, did I make a mistake? Like I really did have a moment of like, maybe we need to go back like a day or two earlier. Like, I don't know if I can really do this. Like, this is a lot. My parents are nowhere. Like if something happens, it's like we're 2 hours away. I can't get to them. I can't do anything. I got it together and I stopped to freak out. But I was like, oh my gosh, like this child is here. And I have to like really pay attention to
and I'm the adult.
Yes. Right. And I can't just be like, I don't know, go ask mom.
You're not looking around like, go tell an adult. You're like, oh,
I'm like,
I'm the adult.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, because of all of that and taking care of them and like, you know, living with my parents and doing all of that, like my parents were fine to be like, yeah, go. Like, we trust you and we know that you're going to take care of her. And it was, luckily I was fine. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know.
And your mom is a twin. So she has
a twin and with there's 8 of them. There's 8 of them and she's
Where
a
does
twin,
your mom fall in the birth order?
Baby.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a baby. So they're 2 babies, but my dad is the oldest of his siblings. So I'm like, that has to come into play with like their like marriage dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Like being the
leader and the peacemaker.
Yeah.
Has your mom ever mentioned the dynamic that it is of like being a twin?
She just talks about how like when they were younger, like they didn't really have a sense of like individuality until they got older, because my grandma would like dress them similarly and obviously they looked the same, they have the same face, so like they're identical twins.
I cannot imagine, well, first of all, being a twin. Second, having twins. My sister-in-law is a triplet. How
I know this isn't about like giving birth or whatever, but like do people who have triplets like have natural births, or is that like automatic C-section? Like, how does this work?
I don't know. And how does being a twin or a triplet affect like the sibling dynamic birth order? Because it doesn't matter like who's born first. It's like
it's like minutes or like hours.
I mean,
whatever.
Twins kind of do that thing where they're like, well, I'm a couple minutes earlier, right?
Yeah, my mom is like 12 minutes older or something. But like,
she never lets her forget it.
What's crazy is that like you can kind of tell that my mom's older. Like
really?
she's more bossy and like just is like you know, and my aunt is like very much like yes,
it's the 12 minutes.
I mean, I guess it means something. I don't know, but also like again, this is not about like moms, but like breastfeeding. You only have 2 boobs and you have 3 kids? How?
Oh my gosh.
Is one of them bottle fed? Or are you just on a rotation? Like, how does this work?
That's such a good question. Like, would you do a rotation?
Yeah, because you have twins, right? You got 2 arms, you got 2 boobs, you go in like this.
Oh my God, but tandem feeding? I simply could not.
Oh my gosh.
If you're a twin, or if more importantly, if you've had
twins or multiple children at once, like
sound off in the comments,
please. I'm truly so curious.
So I actually did ask my sister-in-law's mom about this, because we were hanging out with them shortly after Grace was born, and I asked her, I was like, how did you do this?
Right.
Like it's so hard already caring for 1 baby.
Right.
How the heck did you do this with 3? And she just looked at me and she was like, I didn't have, but what's the option? I didn't have a choice. Like, you just do.
Right.
Like, and I was just like,
you just live.
Yeah. Hands off to you.
No, right.
But and she said it was really hard when they were younger, but it got easier as they got older, because then they were all in the same stage at the same time. We did all of the different, like when you have siblings that are apart in age, you have to do like potty training one, and then 4 years later, you're potty training the other. You're getting one ready for the first day of school, and then 4 years later, it's the next one. And just doing every stage at once.
That's true.
Is like,
and like clothes and stuff, right, too?
Yeah. No hand-me-downs.
Facts. Facts.
Did you guys have no, you guys wouldn't have hand-me-downs.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I got hand-me-downs from like my girl cousins.
Oh my gosh. I had one cousin who like her mom got her the cutest clothes, like the best clothes.
Right.
And every time we went to visit them, she was like 5 years older than me. They would have a big box waiting.
That's so nice.
And that's what I never got people being like, hand-me-downs, because I was like, hand-me-downs?
Right.
My mom's getting me the stuff off like the bargain rack. And
Right.
this is like Ralph Lauren. Like
Right.
I'm like 12.
Right.
And also they give that seal of approval. It's already cool. Like you
Yes.
like
Right.
I already
Oh.
respect you, like what you do and how cool you are, and now you're letting me borrow one of your or have one of your shirts. Oh my god, I love it
Right.
even more.
Yeah.
My sister and I, because again, the age gap, and my sister's very petite and like very short. I'm very tall. So like, even if we were closer in age, our clothing is not going to work for her.
Yeah.
So she gets hand-me-downs from P.
Yeah, I got.
And she absolutely loves it.
Oh, I bet.
Absolutely loves it.
Does she?
Yeah.
That's so
we
sweet.
got home. So we actually, Paloma came home from her trip. And so we all got to hang out together and watch High School Musical 2 and like play games and stuff. And so Paloma gave her some of like her clothes. And so when we went back home to my mom, she was like, Paloma gave me some clothes, and like did a whole thing. It was like, and then I got this jean jacket and I got this and this.
The haul.
Yep. She did a haul. Yeah. Which is so great because I literally can't give her any of my clothes. Like
Yeah.
it just does not work. And I want to, but she cannot fit. But yeah, she
That's
wears
so
Paloma's stuff.
I'm
sweet.
borrowing the little sis.
Yeah.
I'm giving her
Yeah.
my clothes.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting the sister vibes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah.
It just feels a little bit more special. And
Yeah.
every time I see her like wearing like one of my crop tops, I'm like, cute shirt.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah. I'm like,
Your mom got my hand-me-downs.
yes.
Your mom and
We're all,
her twin.
it's
a joint
family.
closet.
Exactly.
So one thing I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on with siblings. I feel like, especially when I was in my teenage years, I really wanted to be different than my
Mhm.
older brother. Like I really defined myself by how we were different. Like if he's the sporty one, I'm the artsy one.
Mm.
I liked sports too. I played competitive soccer for like 12 years, but I was the artsy one.
Right.
I'm not the sporty one. Like I feel like I wanted to differentiate myself from him. Do you guys feel like you tried to differentiate yourselves from your sibling, or that you were like, yep, we're siblings, we're the same, we have the same interests?
I think just by default, my brother and I are so different. Like I was always like theater, singing, and he was always like soccer, sports. So I don't think that there ever was that situation. Like my mom would drop me off at theater and he was dropped off at soccer. And it was just like, we were just so different that I just never felt, and maybe the age difference, I really think that just made it, like we're close enough to where like that 4.5 years, I don't know. It's just very like, because I don't remember him being born. Like my mom has to tell me about that. So I just don't have those memories like Sierra being like, oh, I want to sit next to him and be excited. Like I wish I could see that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, again, the age gap made it already. I was already different.
Yeah.
But I can see it like with my brother and my sister. Like we all really like theater. My brother does not want to he doesn't want to be on stage. Like that's not his tea. But he'll go to a show and watch. Like he loves that. My sister, she's like the star. Like she's like, it is spotlight on me. Thank you very much. I think that she wants to be different from my brother because my brother's really smart. And I mean, she's smart too, but he's very like book smart. Like he loves science and that kind of stuff. Like he wants to be like a scientist, like doctor or whatever. And she's like, I'm going to go to school for like theater. She asked me, actually, she was like, can you go to school for like acting? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, that's what I want to do. And I was like, yeah. But I think she wants to be like me.
Yes.
But I think I don't think she looks at me in that way, like as her sister, or more of like a role model in that way. But I think she wants to be like me.
Yeah.
In a way that she doesn't really want to be like too different. Like she's herself. But she told me that I was
she sees you and she's like, and I like that, let me do that.
Yeah. She told me though, I think she thinks I'm very opinionated and that I could probably not be as opinionated because we were playing that game and every time she was like, yeah, you're really opinionated, and she goes, and when you disagree, like everyone knows. And I was like, Gotcha. Okay, well, noted. So I think she doesn't want to be like me in that aspect.
Yeah.
But I think in like the arts and kind of like the creativity vibe, she's like, she wants to be like me in that way.
Did she come see you when you were in Spring Awakening?
No. I think because of the
content of the show. That's very true.
Yeah.
But she's seen you perform,
She's
obviously.
seen me in every other show that I've ever done.
I was going to say that you have kind of laid the roadmap for her of what that can be.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that she can then follow in that path.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you're the older one, it's like, I am making the path.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And actually, I look at her and I'm like, you're doing way more than I did or even felt like I could do at your age. And I'm like looking at you like, wow, like
Yeah.
you were really doing it. But I don't think it would have been like that had I not even done anything. Like, she's looking at what I've done and been like, okay, I can do that and more.
Yeah.
And she's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because she has you. Like, you have that older sister being like, okay, so when's the audition? What are you singing for the audition? Like, what's your cut?
I was that
Right.
with my brother.
You know, like,
Yeah.
that's what, and you didn't have like a sister being like, okay, so what's the next audition? What's the, you know,
Right.
you have that person asking the right questions and being like, hey, do
Right.
you want to start doing classes and stuff like that? So, and you ran so she could walk, you know?
Yeah.
Tea.
That's so interesting too, because my little brother did theater growing up, but when I think about it, I don't know if he would have just done it on his own
Mhm.
if I hadn't done it.
Right.
Because I did weekly voice lessons with him for like a couple years. Like, I'd be like, okay, like Wednesday after school, like we're practicing this song.
I love that.
Me too.
I pulled this cut for you,
love
and
that.
I would like give him critiques,
Iconic.
and he loved it.
Wow.
And so like he really, and then after that he immediately wanted to like do theater, and I would help him with his audition songs. We were in shows together,
Ugh.
and he was so
Dream.
good, so talented. But I don't know if he would have done it.
Right.
Without-
Without your influence.
Yeah.
That just shows you the influence that your siblings have. I mean, sometimes you have families that are like sports families, or like your family, like they all just like, obviously, if you're into something, you just like show them like, hey,
Right.
didn't know if you thought that this was an opportunity or anything like that.
Right.
The boys I used to babysit for growing up through SDSU, they were younger too, and I would always get them playing the music that I was listening to. I'd play them Grease. The little kid was like, please, can I come with you to to a rehearsal? And then the kid was singing like pulled, like coming for my gig. Like
Right.
he had
True.
such a good time, and he was like exposed to the theater and the arts and the singing, and now, but it, you know, you just need someone to hold your
Kinda
hand
show
or
you.
show you what you can do.
And that's one of the things that's so fun about being an older sibling is you kind of have like a little yes man.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I used to print out scenes from like TV shows for my brother to like read with me. He had no, and he was fine. He was just
Right.
like, yep, okay, this
Yeah.
is what we're doing.
Yep.
Like, imagine trying to convince like an older sibling to do that.
They're like, what are we doing?
No, I'm the boss.
Right.
But with a younger sibling, you're like, okay, we're going to be reading the scene from SpongeBob. You're going to be Patrick, and I'm SpongeBob.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So my mom's sister, her twin,
Yeah.
has a son, and he's 5 years younger than me. So that was like my first taste of like brother, right?
Yeah.
And when we all like lived in the same area, we would do like the scenes and stuff together, and he would do literally
Anything you said.
One year for my mom's, for our mom's birthday, we sang, you know, in SpongeBob, "It's the best day ever." Right. So we did that. I need to find the video, but we sing that, right? And we have like hats on. I don't know what we were doing, but we sang that, and then we say, "It's our mommy's birthday, our mommy's," and then it was, "It's your mommy's, it's your mommy's, it's my mom." I don't know. It went on for far too long, but that was like, I finally got like the taste of like, oh, like we're close enough. Like I was old enough, like 5 years, but like close enough where we could still like kind of do the thing. And we did scenes every summer. We were putting on a show. We were like, we're going to audition for
What
Disney
is
Channel,
that?
Nickelodeon.
I'm telling you, I have footage of me being like, hey guys, it's Paloma and David. And my brother's like, yep, that's me.
Yeah.
I think that's like a universal childhood experience of like, we're putting on a show for our parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, there's a video of me and my cousin doing the Lizzie McGuire choreography of, hey now, hey now.
Sierra, we have lived the same life.
We've
I
all
have
lived
choreo with my cousin to that as well.
I feel like we've all lived the same life. And that's so funny because you think about that right now. I would do that now. I mean, we do that.
We
right?
do. We do
Like,
that.
except like maybe our parents, like we're not doing it for our parents. We're just doing it for each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we do that still.
Oh my God, you know what? Well, now we just do it as like a TikTok dance.
Oh.
I was going to say tonight,
Oh my
because you
God.
guys are sleeping over.
Right.
We should learn a TikTok dance, and then we should like put on, like, that's our audience. We have, like, it's
We
online
should.
now.
We
Okay.
should.
Yeah.
And we should try to like match our outfits.
Wait, or we should make our own TikTok dance, because half the fun was doing the choreography.
Yes.
Right. We're
And
like,
then-
okay, you stand here. I'm
There's
going to
a
stand in the
captain, though,
front.
and Ryan, clearly.
You're the captain
okay,
of
you
the
guys.
ship.
You guys stand here.
Well, and the best part too was the choreo. I don't know if it was the same for you guys. The choreography was so literal. Like I remember doing
Yes.
one to the Jonas Brothers and being like, "I'm hot, you're cold."
Like every time there was a phone, I'm
Yeah.
on the phone,
yeah.
texting and calling. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I remember we did once. Speaking of hot and cold, to Katy Perry. You're hot and you're cold.
Yep.
You're yes and you're no. You're in and you're out.
Yep.
Up, then
Down. Yeah.
We already got maybe that's the song we do. We already got some choreo going.
It's giving worship leader.
It is.
Into marvelous light I'm running.
Wow. That does remind me of another worship song. We were like, run and not get weary, walk and not faint. Yeah, very that. And not faint. Yeah, very literal. I mean, because we weren't choreographers yet.
Right.
Right? We just like, and also like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon songs, like they were pretty literal too.
And then like in High School Musical when they did the dance along and they would teach you the choreography during the commercials.
Yep.
I still know it. I
Yes.
did it in labor. There's
Oh my
a video.
God, you did.
Yes.
I remember that.
Which
Yep.
one?
We're all in this together.
Yep.
Sierra.
I know.
Like so pregnant.
Before the epidural.
Yeah.
Word. Okay.
Yep.
They broke that one down, and I remember the pop it like polka dotted
Country fine, hip hop, hip.
Put your heart
And then
in this.
How has that not gone viral on TikTok yet? I haven't seen anyone doing
We're
the
gonna bring it
host
back. We're
stick
bringing it back.
tonight.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
I have such clear memories of my friends teaching me to do that dance before like a middle school dance because they were like, you're the only one who doesn't know it.
Right.
What good
Like you
friends,
can't.
though?
I know good friends.
Yeah.
That's good friends I'm teaching you. Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
those are also the friends I remember who like we were going to our first like boy girl party and they
Ooh.
realized I didn't know how to grind. And they literally
Sierra.
taught me in my friend's childhood bedroom. Like at like 13 years old. They were like,
No.
you can't go to this party and like not know how to grind.
No,
So
right. I
what
mean,
They were
fair.
but they were good friends.
No,
Yeah, no,
great
that-
And
that's
they
a
like
good
sat
friend.
me down. It was like an intervention. It wasn't just like casual, like, oh yeah, we should teach you. They're like, Sierra, you've never been to a boy girl party. You don't know how to grind.
Right.
We don't want you to embarrass yourself. We care about you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Those are
we're
honestly
gonna
good friends.
teach
Great
you.
friends.
Yeah.
Those are good friends because they could have really just been like, oh, we'll go there and like at the party being
Figure it
like,
out.
oh, she doesn't
She
know what
doesn't
she
know.
rather than
Right.
being like, all right, girl, let's get it together. What are the
Mhm.
lyrics? Wrap it
Right.
up.
Yep.
Did you guys? Okay, when High School Musical came out, after so it was going to be like the second one because that came out like during like summer or something like that.
Mhm.
The first one, but when I got back to school, I cast High School Musical. I already knew who was what and what we were doing, but I held like fake auditions just because I wanted people to like.
Feel like they were.
It was
had a
giving
fair
like
shot.
monkey. Yeah. What is it called? Like dance monkey.
Dance monkey
Yeah,
dance.
it was giving that. I already knew what I was doing, but I was like, "Come on."
Yeah.
I was like,
Ryan has
Writing
been holding auditions for years. is
literally
what I'm
years.
is
I was
what
in
I'm
I was
telling-
in elementary school. I was in 5th grade. I remember.
God.
Mm.
Did you cast yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. And who were you?
I was Taylor.
Yeah. Oh,
I was
okay.
Taylor.
I was gonna
Well-
say you didn't make yourself.
Well, I didn't
Vanessa.
know what I knew I was never. Gabriella was not giving
Yeah. Who,
ever.
No offense. I know you've played Gabriella. Who wants to be Gabriella?
No one.
No one.
I was
But you know
Gabrielle and I
what?
didn't want
You know what? I would want to be Sharpay.
Yeah, same.
Then
Agreed.
I would want to be I like to pop and laugh
Martha
and
Cox.
Martha Cox,
Mhm.
and then I would want to be Taylor.
Right.
Gabriella's at the bottom of that list.
I think the girls that wanted to be Gabriella, which I think I wanted that, but not for her.
I only
For
wanted that
the
to
boy
be with
aspect. I wanted
Troy.
to be yeah.
yeah,
with Zac Efron.
Well, I wanted
Yeah.
to be Zac Efron.
yeah.
And the only way
I still want to be with Zac Efron.
well, say that. Yeah.
You know, when I started dating Steven, I introduced him to my boss at the theater that I worked at. And Steven, I'm not kidding, did look a little bit like Troy Bolton when he was like 20 and we started dating.
Yeah.
My boss pulled me aside and he goes, Sierra, that's Troy Bolton. Like not Zac Efron, like Troy,
No, right,
like
Troy
because he had
Bolton.
longer hair.
Right.
And and he's like, no wonder you're dating him. He's freaking like he's clearly Troy Bolton.
Right. Did you see that? Or
No.
after he said
No,
it, you
but
were,
then I was like,
you're right.
I have a type.
But then she stepped back and was like, "Oh
You're
my god, I
right.
kind of see
Yeah.
it."
She goes, okay, Steven. I'm gonna give you a basketball. We're just gonna do a little role play real quick.
Let's just test some things out.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like, "Na na na na."
na 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 na.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. I
the
was just telling Paloma when we were younger and High School Musical 2 came out. There's this part where they're singing that song. There's 2 times. It's just so ridiculous. There's one part where they're singing that song and he was leaning on the piano and I could see his boxers. You know that part? They're blue. They're
No, I
literally
haven't
blue.
seen it. We have to go freeze frame
yeah, no,
that shit.
I was like, like, oh my god, like this is crazy.
Or when she was dancing with Sharpay, the na na na.
oh,
na,
and he lifts his arms up and you could see
the air.
You could, yeah. He lifts his arms up and you
What
could
a-
see like his.
What about in the first one when we see Chad Danforth's armpit hair?
I did feel a type of way about that, and I didn't
Yeah.
know why.
Yeah.
I did. Also, in the third one, Paloma famously has not seen High School Musical 3, which feels sick.
What?
to me.
I've never seen
it.
Her sister asked me.
I saw that in theaters like
So
5
did I,
times.
and I sobbed every time.
Yeah.
Sobbing.
I made all my friends go.
Yep.
Oh, you know what was that summer when High School Musical 2 came out though? You know what was kind of sad because that came out High School Musical 1, I think we were in 5th grade.
5th grade. Yep.
So then the High School Musical 2 was either that summer or the next.
Mm-hmm.
But my friends were all very into High School Musical 1. And then I remember my friend Corey, I'm going to say her name because we're still friends, so I can come for you on this, Corey. I told her, like, hey, let's have a viewing party of, like, High School Musical 2. And she goes, Sierra, we're in middle school now. Come on. Like, we don't watch High School Musical 2.
Corey.
And I was like, Corey, like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, like, maybe we can watch it, like, another time. But, like, we're not doing a viewing party. Like, come on.
No.
I was heartbroken.
Right.
Corey,
Devastation.
I never got over it. Come over and watch High School Musical 2 with me.
Right.
But then I watched it with my theater friends because they were still down.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I never gave up the High School. I never pretended like it wasn't it. Like I loved it.
Nope.
I ate that shit up.
I don't know why I fell off the second one and didn't see the third. I don't know why.
it's
I
so
don't.
good.
Maybe you were a Corey. You were like, we're in middle school now.
Maybe you just like got over
Maybe
it.
I was. I don't
couldn't.
know.
My loyalty. I was so strong. But the point I was trying to make, because we were talking about.
I'm so sorry.
No, it
we
is
have derailed
okay.
your point.
The point that also doesn't have anything to do with anything other than like boys and me being like a mess over them. Zeke in the third one, especially during the like Sharpay and Riayn song, he has his shirt unbuttoned, and I was older, so I knew what the T was. It was giving V. It was giving abs. I was losing myself.
Riayn.
You know what made me lose myself in High School Musical 3? This tux is too baggy, too tight. It makes me look weird. And he like shakes his pelvis.
Yes. Lost
Stop.
it. Yeah.
This is a Disney movie?
It was a theatrical release, though.
It was cinema is what
Yeah.
it was.
Well, you did say they had a bigger budget than because they made so
it
much
was
money
in
from the first
theaters.
and second one.
It was. It went to theaters. Like
Yes.
it was not a Disney Channel original movie. It was
Mm-mm.
in the theater.
And you
Okay.
can tell.
The
Maybe that's
Okay,
why.
wait, that's what we're watching tonight.
facts.
I cannot believe you haven't seen
no, I
this.
don't-
Honestly, yeah,
It's crazy.
you're gonna love it.
I hope. Well, am
No,
I
you're gonna love
am I
it.
gonna cry?
Yeah,
Yeah. Is it really
I think
heart?
so.
Is it heartfelt? Like
yeah, like that because it's over.
Yeah.
Like that's the end of the era.
You know what
and
I
that's
think
why
is the
it's sad.
best scene in High School Musical 3?
Wait.
Scream.
Yes, cinema
Scream.
again. Cinema.
When the hallway is turning and he's like falling all around.
She's gonna.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You
But
don't
you're
know.
gonna know.
Can we please look at him?
Oh,
my God.
wow.
A man. A man.
Wait, how old? Like how old? What year did this come out? What year did this come out?
2008.
I think I was a freshman and I was definitely in high school when High School Musical 3 came out.
Yeah, 2008.
We weren't in high school yet.
No. Oh, sorry. Middle school. I'm sorry. Middle school.
2008.
High School Musical 3 came out in 2008.
How old were we in
Wait, did
2008?
it really?
Yeah, according to Google.
Whoa. I thought it was.
So what? We were
High
in
School
eighth
Musical
grade?
2, 2007.
I want to say
Eighth grade.
I want to say I was in 7th grade because I remember I went on a date with an 8th grader, like a group date with friends.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't want it to make it seem like I was trying to force everyone to go to High School Musical 3,
Right.
but I
Right.
wanted to force everyone to go to High School Musical 3.
Right.
But I couldn't let the 8th grade boy who was on the group date with me, like,
Right.
no.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, yeah, we can see anything. Like, oh, here are the tickets. I got them for this, like, stupid movie.
Right.
High School Musical 3.
You on the date, like your date's trying to hold your hand and you're like you're trying to pay attention. That's so funny. Yeah, wow.
So I think I was in 7th grade.
It's heartfelt.
Yeah.
But also Camp Rock. Okay, I know they don't compare, so I won't even pretend to be like Camp Rock versus High School Musical. It's not. It's always High School Musical. But I vibe with Camp Rock. Like it was my jam a little bit.
Have you rewatched it recently?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I rewatched when I was pregnant. I watched so many movies when I was
Wow.
pregnant. High School Musical, all three of them, 100% hold up. Camp Rock, I watched. I was like, this is bad.
It's bad.
No.
It's like
Yeah.
bad.
I haven't rewatched it since
It's not.
being older.
It's not good.
Okay.
What I will say though is that I like the song with Demi and Joe,
Yep.
and then I like the songs that the Jonas Brothers sing together.
I was a huge, still am, Jonas Brothers stan. So that was like the draw.
And that's
movie.
why I liked it. But the second one, worse. I said how?
Right.
I think Camp Rock was the first movie I ever streamed, or maybe it was Camp Rock 2, because I was staying at my
Oh.
cousin's house because my parents were out of town and they didn't have cable. They didn't have TV.
Mhm.
And I was like, I am not missing this. Like,
Right.
are you kidding
Right.
me? And so I like you could watch it on like DisneyChannel.com.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was probably like the first movie I ever streamed.
Wow.
That's so funny. Kids hearing us be like, "That was the first movie I streamed."
Right, they're like-
because we didn't have cable. They're
Yeah.
like, "What?"
They're like, what's cable?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I also remember I was on a trip to New York with my dad when High School Musical came out on DVD, and I made
Ugh.
him take me to the Toys R Us in Times Square because I had to buy
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
Necessary.
As you should
The
have.
fact that I could watch it whenever I wanted.
Right.
I didn't have to wait for it to come on TV. I could rewind. I could pause.
Okay. High School Musical 2. Have you watched? I have all of them on DVD, obviously. Have you watched like the behind the scenes bonus features?
Of course.
My favorite bonus feature of High School Musical 2 is when they're learning the choreography.
In the rehearsal?
Yes.
With Kenny Ortega?
Yes. Oh my God. I loved it. I don't know why.
good.
Whenever she like whips her hair and they're like laughing, it's so, oh my God. I'm having like nostalgia right now.
When they do like the roller coaster because they were doing a massage train and then they're like, okay.
Yes.
Now, and then they put that in the choreography.
Yes.
How do I know that? Okay. Anyway, siblings.
Oh, right.
Wait,
I forgot what we were doing
need to do a whole episode on like Disney Channel, like Y2K nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I feel like we could just go.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, I don't know.
We could get like the list of like the old movies, like the Cadet Kellys and like
Oh my God, Cadet Kelly.
all the Disney originals.
Cadet Kelly.
I don't know. We don't have guests yet, but if we ever do, Kenny Ortega, listen. I owe you like so much thanks. Truly.
Yeah.
Like so much. Also, Kenny Ortega had something to do with the Hairspray movie too.
Did he really?
I believe that he
I
did.
didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like Kenny Ortega and Adam, what's his name? Adam Shankman? Is that his name? I don't know. I can't remember, but he's an
bless
icon
him.
too. Bless him. I love the Hairspray movie. Zac Efron and Hairspray.
Stop. We cannot go on.
my-
Okay,
sorry,
we get
sorry,
into
sorry.
Link Larkin, then
I
it's going to be a
know.
longer episode.
I know. You're right. You're right.
Okay,
right.
but we should do like a whole.
No, we totally should.
And let us know in the comments like what kind of things you want to hear us talk about in that.
Yeah.
I call it Y2K, but we were like 4 in what like in actual
in like
Y2K.
actual Y2K.
Like
What is it?
year
Just like
2000?
is this early 2000s?
Early
Or
2000s.
Some people call like 2000 like 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11, 12 the 2010s. But I don't really understand that, I guess. But I've heard that
Maybe
that
2000s.
the 2000s.
It's like the
Early-
golden era
Decom.
of Disney Channel.
decom because they don't call it
Decoms.
that.
They don't?
I don't think so.
What do they call it?
I don't know.
know.
I'm too old.
I'm too old. I
I
don't
know.
watch
My
that
sister's
channel.
still watching it, but I don't really. But it's not as like religious as we watched it. Like she watches the Disney Channel, right? And like she still watches like the shows, kind of. But it's definitely not as religious. I guess that's a word. As
Well,
we
I
like
think it was
thought
probably religious for us because we didn't have anything, an iPad, a Switch, or
Right.
anything else. Like
No.
when I got home, all I could do was turn on the TV. I didn't even have a computer. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay, right.
Like-
yeah.
You know, the one way that you could watch like whatever you wanted when you wanted. Did you guys ever have was it called a Video Now?
Yes.
I didn't have one, but my neighbor did.
Yeah.
And she had like 5 Amanda Show Video Now.
The Amanda
drives.
Show.
That
Talk
lucky
about
girl.
throwing it back.
Bring out the dancing lobsters.
Yep. Yep.
That's what we should have gone at. We just were brainstorming our Halloween costumes because
Lobsters.
in all of our October episodes, we're gonna wear costumes. One of us should have been Judge Trudy,
Judge
and
Trudy.
the dancing lobsters.
Yep. Oh my God. I totally forgot about the Amanda Show. Wow. TBT.
Yeah. Minor derailment for High School Musical fangirling.
Right.
But one of the last things that I had wanted to talk to you guys about and just kind of gauge the room. Do you feel like you were closer with your siblings when you lived under the same roof or after you moved out?
I feel like we were closer when we lived together.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think honestly, I think it's the age gap thing. They don't have phones yet. They're getting phones this year, which is like a huge thing.
Oh my
They're going to be so
gosh.
excited. But like, if I want to talk to them, I have to like text my mom and be like, let's FaceTime. Like I have to schedule when I want to talk to them
Right.
versus just texting them and being like, hey, what's poppin'? Like, what's good?
Yeah.
So I do feel like because I don't see them as often and we can't communicate as frequently that I felt closer when I lived with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with me. I definitely feel like, I mean, just seeing my brother all the time or like taking him to school and stuff like that. Just
Well, it's like moving out, all of a sudden you have to be intentional with
Yep.
your sibling relationship instead of just being together all the time.
Yeah.
right.
I think with my older brother, we got way closer actually when we moved out. We fought a lot when we were in our teenage years. We were super close when we were little. Like my mom said, we were like best friends. We wanted to do everything together. And then we grew apart in our teen years. I think part of that being so close in age, like we
Yeah.
just really butt heads and we were so different. And then when he moved out, and I only moved out a year later because we were only a year apart and we both went to college, and he went to USD and I went to SDSU. So we were like 10 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first time he just asked me to hang out, like just
Aw.
like us.
Yeah.
Like he just texted me and he was like, hey, do you want to come over and get lunch with me? Like at my school's cafeteria. And I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I remember he told me about like girl problems for the first time. Like he never talked to me about stuff. And like
Yeah.
I told him about, because Steven and I had been dating for like, I think 6 months at the time. So I was like talking to him about my relationship with Steven. And then like we made plans to like hang out again. And then he started a Bachelor fantasy league. And so like I was in that. And then we watched The Bachelor every week. And then
That's so sweet.
it was after he moved out that we got really close. And now me and my older brother are really close.
I love that.
But we weren't when we lived together. But then with my little brother, which maybe it is also like an age gap thing.
Yeah.
We were way closer.
When
We're
you
still
lived
close
together.
now, but when we lived together, yeah.
I feel like I'm closer with them like emotionally. Like when we do see each other and hang out, like we actually talk about things.
Yes.
Versus like living with them, it's just kind of like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Da da da. Like very surface stuff. Now our conversations are more intentional.
Well, do you also think that since they're getting older, their conversation
also that.
is
Yes,
just becoming,
Yeah.
it's some,
We can actually like talk about real things.
right.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
So now that, I mean, like my siblings are still young, but they're older, like we're just talking about having like real conversations with them. Do you guys talk about like your parents with your siblings?
Yes.
What's that like? What is that like?
It's fun. And also, I feel like once we've kind of talked about it, of like, you know, the eccentricities of our parents that we both notice,
Yeah.
then when they do something
We're like-
and we're all together, we like side eye each other.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like we just, it's, you have the conversation of establishing like what we're talking about. And then when it happens, you're like, all right,
Mhm.
you get that. We're like,
Or you know when you're like, well, you know how mom is, like she's just
Yes.
like that.
Oh, that's what I was just about to say. Being able to go, well, you know how mom is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. We're kind of there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right?
I think because 13 still, you're just starting to kind of break out into
I'm
your
there
own
with
person.
my brother. My brother's
Yes.
15.
Yeah. That's, I think, when it
Jesus.
starts. Yeah.
He's 15. Yeah. So now we'll be like, kind of catching stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. And it's also like, I don't know, I feel like it brings the whole family closer together in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think sometimes when my parents would do things like that like got on my nerves or that we really clashed about, it was like so serious.
Yeah.
You know? And then now being like to my sibling, well, you know, that's dad.
Right.
It's like a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah. You've said something like that to me before where you're like, when you see your parents like treat your siblings differently and you kind of get annoyed, like, why do they get away with stuff like that? You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's not even the same parent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not even the same
Ooh.
person, especially
Oh.
with me, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so
11
many
years,
years.
13
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know how we got in that conversation,
either.
but I remember that's why it's so different, that conversation of like, oh, that parent like loves this kid more or this, that, and more, or
Mhm.
they treat them more this way, that way. And conversation I've had with mothers have been like, every kid is just so different and they need different things. And so that's how that is. She's like, but also you have a different parent. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like your mom was much younger than she was when she had your sister. So
Yeah.
just like that dynamic, even in her own mind and things like that. Like 5 years after that, after she had me, she got to my brother and was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. It's like that commercial
Right.
where, oh, she dropped the binky and you just like lick it and put it in the mouth. Cause
Yeah.
because you know nothing's going to happen. You've
Right.
already been here. And
Right.
and their style of parenting's different and what they're going through. I mean, even parents that go through divorces or separations, like you have
Yeah.
a different mom and dad than that
What-
other sibling experienced, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
No, it totally is. And it kind of puts things into perspective, right? Because it's easy for you to be like, you never did like that for me and this and this and that and that. And like sometimes it could be problematic, but like you saying, like
Different.
my
It's like
mom,
I was a different person.
my mom at
Yeah.
18, a mom at 18 is not the same mom at 35 or however old she was when she had my brother and my sister. Like not the same at all. I am not the same.
Right.
2 years ago, if I had a baby 2 years ago and I had a baby now, it would be very different.
That's like blowing my mind right now.
You know?
Right.
Like thinking about having another baby, I'm like, I will be a different person.
You
Yeah.
will. You will have like other different like ideas and struggles and just like the
Yeah.
world. I don't know, because your world changes so often, I think. Like at least personally, I feel like every year I'm like, who was that a year ago? I don't know her. Don't talk about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a parent here, like let's say like in 3 years, like you would be so different.
So different.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah, I think I'm just now getting to the point where I look back on my pregnancy and feel like, oh, that was like a different person, like a different
Yeah.
version of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to be like when I have another baby, if
Yeah.
I'm able to.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot about how it'll be different because it'll be my second and I'll be caring for a toddler and a newborn.
Right.
But I don't think about how my situation will be different. I don't think about how I'm different.
Right.
Yep.
For your confidence.
That's true.
Yeah, being confident in my ability to parent,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
being like, I know what works, I know what doesn't.
Right.
Mhm.
And also like, because there's actually a video you filmed where you were like, everything I took to the hospital that I literally didn't need.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that. So you're going to be like, okay, well, I remember bringing all these things and doing all this. Not necessary. I already know that that's not going to work, or I don't need that, and move on and be like, this is what I actually know that I need.
Yes.
Now it's going to be like that.
And that's like a simple, like just like a simple step that you like learn of like items to need. And then, but like in parenting wise, like even emotionally, they're like, that didn't work with my younger kid. Now this time
Let me
around,
try
I'm going to
this.
do something. So like,
Yeah.
I can't take it personal that my mom would like, or like, for example, being like, oh, my mom didn't know how to communicate this specific topic. Got to my brother and it was like different. It's like, well,
Right.
yeah,
'Cause she learned.
She learned with me, and then 4 years happened, and just you just mature. Even as like, I'm not going to pretend that my mom's not a real person. You know, it's like, and I think we forget that our moms are. You're like, you're not real. You're my mom, but
like,
you guys are going through the same things too, and so I can't.
It's weird getting to the age where you start to realize that your parents not only are like real people, but that they were like young when they had you. Like, I think in my brain, my parents have always been parents. My parents have always had it all together, all figured out. And then looking back and being like, oh my God, like my mom was younger than me when she had my brother. Like, and realizing like, oh, you had no idea what you were doing.
Me, every day when I think about my mom literally being 18 and having a baby and like being in college, I'm like, could literally never be me. Like, how did you make any decision? And like life, like you had a literal child infant that relied on you to keep them alive and fed and like taken care of. How?
I think it brings so much more respect for your parents.
Totally.
Looking at that, where you're like, oh my God, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, and then the other thing too, right, is like having multiple children and like going to work, right, and maybe you have like a super stressful day at work and then coming home and then your kids are like yelling and doing whatever and fighting, or like, I'm hungry, I'm this, and you literally just stepped into the door and you're like,
the older siblings telling everyone what to do, the little ones like, just get along.
Right.
The middle one's like, I got a show going on in 30 seconds.
literally like, or it's like down the street, like at a friend's house, like no one knows where it is. Like, it's just like chaos. Or you got dogs and stuff like this. So
I've been thinking about that a lot because I remember when I was a kid, every night my dad would play a game with each of us. Like after work in the evening, like each of us would have a game.
Wow.
But I remember as a kid being annoyed that as soon, because we were waiting for my dad to get home so we got to play our game. He'd walk through the door. I want to play handball tonight. I want to play this. I want to play that. And he'd be like, I need 10 minutes. But I've been waiting.
Right.
You're here. Go play handball with me.
Right.
And realizing like, my dad was asking for 10 minutes.
Right. After his entire day of work.
Yes. And then now, coming home from work and being like, oh, I need 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Just with every year, like we just like know more, and just like have a newfound respect for our parents and just everything they
people
went
in general. I feel like kids, obviously, because they just don't know and like it's fine. But you view every person that's older than you, especially adults, whether they're your parents or not, as like just knowing.
Yeah.
Like they just know. Or they were like never kids. Like they just have been an adult like their entire life. And like that's why it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you grow up and you're like, you realize no one knows what's going on. We're all just trying, like our parents right now have never had children our age.
Yeah.
They're
it's their first time having kids in their 20s.
Yes.
Right.
But like you kind of like forget that that's like a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But like when you having a baby, right? Like that was the moment your parents became grandparents. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
That's a whole nother thing with siblings too. Watching my brothers become uncles.
Oh, yeah.
That was a whole nother aspect into our relationship. Like, and they are so amazing. And it's amazing to see them do that. And it's also amazing to see how they've stepped up like for my needs at being a mom. Like when we're at family gatherings, my brother, both of them will come up to me and be like, hey, do you want me to hold Grace so you can get something to eat? Like, oh, hey, do you want me to go play with her? Like, they do that because they want to do that for her, but they also do that because they want to do that for me.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking about that, I'm like, maybe I'm gonna reach my closeness with my brother there when I'm older, when I have that opportunity to like, I don't know, like we're both older and we can like have kids or something.
Well, and then imagine if he has kids, and then they're cousins.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm like, because just hearing Sierra say that, I'm like, oh my God, like my brother would have like a son, and like, oh my God,
Right.
Maybe I haven't reached my closeness with my sibling yet, because that sounds so. Sierra, how are you not overwhelmed with tears every day seeing your brother
really
with
am.
your kids?
They're just so amazing, both of them. And I knew my older brother would be because, like I said, we're 14 months apart. Like he's in this stage of life where he was like so excited to like have a baby around.
Mm-hmm.
My little brother, when Grace was born, was 18. Like I didn't know how much, and he's in college. Like how much do you expect like an 18-year-old to want to like play with a baby?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely blown me away how involved he is, how much he like adores her, how fantastic he is as an uncle. Like that has been so amazing to see and has brought a whole newfound like respect to our relationship.
I love that.
And I think with my little brother, because we have that age gap, I always viewed him as he's the baby.
Right.
Mhm.
And so then
right.
now to watch him like want to help take care of Grace and stuff is it's cool too, because I remember when my little brother was in the stages that Grace is in. And Steven and I have talked about that a lot because he and his brother they're 2 years apart. So
Okay.
he doesn't remember like his little brother being little.
Mm-hmm.
And so like sometimes Grace will do things. I'll be like, oh, that I remember when Austin used to do that. Like super random. She just discovered her belly button. So when you ask her, I'll have to show you guys, when you say, where's your belly button? She like points to it. And it reminded me that when my little brother was like 3, he used to say that his belly button was his favorite toy because it comes with him everywhere he goes.
Oh my God.
He would just poke it.
Right.
And I was telling Steven like, oh, I remember Austin used to always poke his belly
That's
button.
so funny.
And it's like all those little things are like little eccentricities that I see of my brother in Grace.
Yeah.
Because also like they share 50% of the same genes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like Grace
Yeah.
is 50% me, but she's also 50% Austin,
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
which
Oh
is
my
so
God,
weird. So like
right.
seeing sometimes she gets this certain little smile where I just see Austin
Mm.
and I'm like,
That's so special.
it's so crazy.
Yeah, my heart is like so fuzzy. That's why I'm like, yeah.
Not fuzzy.
Yeah, seriously. It's like so
Seriously.
warm. Just like picturing that, like,
Right.
me, I'm not trying to get so deep, but like, that's what life is about and just like love and like the family. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like for you too, I can't imagine like when you grow up and if your siblings have kids, watching your babies become like have babies.
She's
Well,
losing
it's-
her mind
Well, it's
already.
because I have all of my memories of seeing like being there when they were born and like every single stage of life up until this point I have clear memories of.
Yep.
And watching them grow up, like my brother started freshman year this year and I was like I was just here. First of all, like I just started high school, but it's crazy. I'm like you were my first baby. Like you were so I have a very, very special place in my heart for my brother, obviously. But like it's so crazy. So I can't even imagine. But also on the same like note on that is like my cousins, because before I didn't have siblings, my cousins were my brothers and sisters. And I am very close with all of my cousins. And I have many because like I said, my mom is one of 8. So I have a lot of cousins, but they all are so special to me. And my relationship with my cousins is so strong that like if I ever did have kids and if my brother and sister have kids, like that is going to be like, I'm like thinking of the relationship of like cousins is so like
Yeah.
strong, you know what I mean? And like how sweet that would be.
I'm really close with my cousins too, and they're so sweet with Grace. And whenever we're like all together, they like all want to like play with her, and it's super sweet. It brings
Yeah.
a whole new like respect and a whole new aspect
Yeah.
to the relationship. Well, I guess the last thing to close it out. This was one thing that I've been again thinking a lot about lately with wanting to start maybe possibly having another baby. I think a lot of the times when you think about siblings, you think about your childhood, right? You think about like, and with me thinking about having another kid, like thinking about what it'll be like for them to grow up together. The vast majority of your relationships with your siblings are when you're both adults.
Oh, right.
Isn't that weird to think about? You spend actually a pretty small amount of time with your siblings, with you both being kids, under the same roof, growing up. The majority of the time that you spend with your siblings is when you're both adults.
Right. No,
Right.
that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense.
But why didn't I not know that?
Right. Why didn't that occur to me
Yeah.
until right now?
So I've been thinking a lot about like, is it going to be difficult to have 2 kids close in age, to have 2 young kids? What if they don't get along? What if they bicker? But it's like, that is actually such a short amount of time for their
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Like me and my brothers, like, yes, we had a great relationship growing up, but right now, like, we're really just getting started.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. I feel that. I totally feel that.
That's so crazy. Well, it just makes it, again, because my siblings are so young, it makes me excited
For the future.
for the future, like for when they do like grow up and they're like adults, like we'll actually like really start our relationship Wow.
Bro, that's what I've been telling you. I'm like, imagine when your little sister's like 20. Like,
Yeah.
she'd be like, hey, girl. I'd be like, oh my God.
Going to Vegas for her 21st birthday.
Oh, I already told her. I was like, it's about, like, I was like, just wait. Just wait. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's so true.
When I remember being mind blown that like my parents had siblings, like I remember the first time I realized that like my aunts and uncles were like my parents' siblings. Like, whoa. No, you're just a parent. Or like that my grandma had siblings.
Right.
I'm like, no, you don't. You're a grandma.
That's it.
That's it.
It begins and it ends there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually true. I do remember realizing that like my parents had brothers and sisters. And I was jealous because I didn't have any.
Yeah.
And then I did. And I was like, take it back. Just kidding. I wonder, like, I guess because when you're a kid, right, you only really see your parents in one light. Like
through your lens.
Yeah. And I mean, and when you're a kid, nothing else really matters other than like your world.
Yeah. I also remember being mind blown that like my mom wasn't related to my aunt who like married my mom's brother. Like I was like, well, no, you guys are like family.
Right.
It's like, no, she married my brother. And I'm like,
right.
No, that's your sister.
Right. We had a fun conversation. I was trying to explain to Paloma whether or not she'd be on the mom side or the dad side. It was literally a 30-minute conversation of me being like, are you okay? What is wrong?
I honestly still have some reservations around the situation.
Why?
Explain it. Please tell Sierra, because I can't even explain it.
She was asking whether or not, like, she was like, okay, if I have a kid,
yes,
am I the mom side or the dad side? And I was
because
like,
I don't want to be the dad. You know how like those TikToks are going around? It's like you realizing that you have to be the dad
like
side.
you're on the dad side. I was like, what are you?
Yeah.
Are you delusional? Like I was really trying hard, and she was just making it worse, and she was not understanding.
So you would be the mom.
Yes.
Right.
So that's the mom's side.
Always.
It depends on who you're talking about.
Wait, are you talking about your kids or your siblings?
She was trying to talk about all of it.
I
I'm
just
like,
want to
it
know, in
depends.
what situation am I ever a
on
dad
your
side?
brother.
On your brother's side, because he's your brother, right?
Right.
That is your relation. You're not related to his wife,
Right.
So
which
you're
would
the
be the
dad's
mom's side. You are the dad's side if it is relation to your brother, which you can't do anything about.
I know. That's what I was trying to avoid.
So I feel the same way because I will always be dad's side because I have two brothers and Steven has a brother.
Right.
So if any of them have kids, I will only ever be like, oh, we're going to blah blah's house. We're going to the dad's side of the family.
Yes.
We're spending Christmas with dad's side of the family.
Yeah, I got it.
Which means
you got it now?
Yeah, I got it.
When I tell you, you guys, it was 30 minutes of her being like, so I'm the mom. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with you?
I was just focused at the situation at hand.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want to be the dad's side. I'm like, you
can't help that.
You can't do anything. That's your brother, girl.
Unless you get your parents to have another kid.
Right.
I've been
If they
convincing
had a girl.
I've been begging my mother. I'm like, Mom, are you sure you don't want to adopt? She's like, honestly, I probably might. I'm like, okay, do it, please.
Right.
I know. I really want. My mom has 12 brothers and sisters, so
Wow.
like one of 12. Like, imagine. I'm like, you only
No.
had me and David. That's it. I want more. I just like grew up with so
That's
many
probably
cousins
why she
around.
only
I was
had
gonna
two,
say,
because she
Yeah.
was.
But I
No.
want so many. I really would. I wish I had an older sister.
Well, now you can if you want. You can have 12 kids if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, well, that's actually what I was telling Riayn when I was hanging out with Rosalind and we were singing Olivia Rodrigo for a split moment. And I was like, this is amazing. I think I need to have a daughter because I don't have a sister. So somehow I have to get this because this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
I am jealous that you have a sister.
I think we should have a sleepover with her.
We should.
She would lose her absolute
Oh my God, that'd be so
mind.
fun. It was so cute when I can't remember if we talked about this on the podcast. When your mom and her twin and your sister came to see the set.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That was what, like our second week of filming too?
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
we had like launch and we had just got back to like talk about how we like launched podcasts. Yeah. It was like our second time filming. Yeah.
It was so sweet. She like sat on the couch, was like, can you take a picture of me?
Yeah. She was so cute. And then she left. She was like, Sierra's so nice. Because this was her first time meeting you. She's like, Sierra's so nice. And I'm going to tell all my friends and this and this. And I was like, yeah. And then we stayed an extra night in LA. We were going to go back home. And I was like, well, Paloma and Riayn are going to come back. So if you want to stay, she was like, okay, like, let's stay because I want to hang out with Paloma. And yeah, it was fun. We played games and watched movies and ate ice cream. And Yeah.
And I'm so glad that extra night, like we didn't fly until like 8 p.m. But just like, like that moment, I was like telling Ryan, I was like, we need to be like really energized and like do the thing, because if I was her, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for them to fly in. Like I want it to be. So I was like, okay, let's play this game. What game did we taboo?
Taboo.
The one where you have to guess if
The
we should-
The word. Yep.
That was so
As
fun.
soon as you guys walked in, we were playing High School Musical 2 and what time is it was on. So me and Rosamund were like on the couch, like dancing right when they opened the
Her
door.
and Roslyn are like, what time is it?
Yep.
Both arms up, swaying. It was so
Paloma
funny.
throws her back and she's like, summertime, hey. Like it was a whole thing. Yeah.
And as great as our brothers are, Austin and David would never.
Right.
They would never, Sierra.
They would never.
They would never. And
Right.
you want to know what also happened? Like a couple minutes after that, she was like, Riayn, Fabulous is about to start. Quickly, the choreo. They sat down.
Oh,
and
yeah,
went,
we sat down
They
and did the
sat down
choreo.
and went, Fabulous. What? How do I sign up for one of those?
Yeah.
Like that's so cute.
Get me,
Yeah,
get
we
me
did.
one.
Right.
So cute.
I have no problem sharing mine. She's great.
Great.
All right, let's rent a Roz.
Yeah. Rent a Roslyn. Rent a Roslyn. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want to watch the video version here on YouTube, or you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, and
Yes.
all of our Instagrams are linked below.
And share some sibling stories in the comments.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to hear some, and DM us some of those. We would love to hear.
Give us the tea.
Yes. All right.
Bye,
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks.